Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you from the Europe Hotel School. It's great to have you with us. I'm an expert in how AI is really shaking things up in the hotel industry, and we're here to help you get a real leg up in your careers. So in this session, we're going to dive into how artificial intelligence is, well, it's completely changing one of the most critical jobs in any hotel, forecasting demand. All right, so here's what we've got on the agenda. First, we're going to talk about the challenges we're facing with forecasting today. Then, we'll pop the hood and look inside the AI engine itself. We'll explore the data that makes these systems tick, see how it all plays out in daily operations, and finally, and this is the important part, we'll talk about your role in this amazing future. Sound good? Let's jump in. You know, for years, decades really, revenue managers have been working with what they had. We're talking historical data, these giant sprawling spreadsheets, and, a good dose of gut instinct. But let's be honest, in today's market, it's just so dynamic. There are a million different things influencing why a guest books a room. That old manual approach, it's just not cutting it anymore. It's hitting its limits. We absolutely need something more powerful, something way more responsive. And that's where the AI engine comes in. This is the solution we've been looking for. The core technology that's making all of this possible is machine learning. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some tech buzzword. It's a real, practical tool that is fundamentally reshaping how we make strategic decisions in the hospitality world. So, when we talk about machine learning models, what are we actually talking about? Well, the easiest way to think of them is as these super powerful analytical engines. I mean, their entire job, their whole reason for being, is to sift through absolute mountains of data, find patterns that we could never see on our own, and then use those patterns to predict really crucial things for the future. We're talking about things like your hotel's occupancy, the average daily rate, or ADR, and, of course, the big one, RevPAR, revenue per available room. And how it works is, at a high level, pretty simple to grasp. Step 1, the model just drinks up a massive amount of data. It ingests everything. Then, step 2, this is where the real magic happens. It starts to identify these incredibly complex patterns and relationships. Connections that a human being would just never be able to spot. Like how a 3-day weather forecast, when combined with a small local event, might actually cause a spike in last-minute bookings. And finally, step 3. It uses everything it's learned to generate these super detailed, super useful future forecasts. Okay, but here's something you absolutely have to remember. Any AI engine, no matter how sophisticated, is only as good as the fuel you give it. And in our world, that fuel is data. The quality of your predictions, their accuracy, it all comes down to the quality, the variety, and the depth of the data you feed into the machine. And this is where it gets really cool, watching how all these different types of data work together. So, the model starts with what it knows best, your hotel's own history, all those booking dates, rates, cancellations, the seasonal ups and downs. For example, it'll learn that, hey, every year during this specific conference, demand for suites just goes through the roof. Then it adds another layer, pace data. This tells it, are we booking faster or slower than we were this time last year? And then for the final touch, it pulls in all these external factors, public holidays, big citywide concerts, even weather patterns, to build this complete 3D picture of what demand is going to look like. Okay, that's the theory. It sounds fantastic, right? But what does this actually look like for a revenue manager on a Tuesday morning? How does this stuff actually work in practice? Let's take a look at a couple of the leading platforms in the industry to see it in action. So, two of the big names you'll definitely come across are IDS and Atomize. They're both powerful, but they take slightly different approaches. IDS, for example, is famous for its incredible level of detail. It's super granular. It lets a revenue manager at a big, complex hotel forecast demand right down to a specific room type for a very specific group of customers. Atomize, on the other hand, really focuses on automation and speed. It's a brilliant tool for teams that need to make quick, real-time pricing adjustments to stay ahead of the competition. And this just goes to show you, there's no one-size-fits-all solution here. The tool has to match the hotel's strategy. Right, so the AI does its thing, and a number pops up on your screen, a forecast. But that's not the end of the story, not by a long shot. The real question, the one that you, as future leaders in this industry, need to be asking is, what do these numbers actually mean for our strategy? And this, right here, is the most important part of this whole conversation. Interpreting these AI forecasts is a skill in itself. See, the AI gives you the what the demand will likely be. But it's the smart, skilled revenue manager, it's you, who provides the so what. For example, a forecast might show you're going to have high occupancy, which sounds great. But what if the system also flags that forecast with high volatility or low confidence? That changes everything, doesn't it? It tells you that, yeah, demand looks strong, but it's also really unpredictable. And that single insight will guide your entire strategy, from how aggressive you are with pricing to whether or not you should launch that new marketing campaign.
Look, being able to read these signals and translate them into action, this isn't just a nice-to-have skill anymore. It is an absolutely core competency for any modern revenue manager. And that is exactly why it's a huge focus in the applied analytics courses right here at Europe Hotel School. We're not just teaching you about the tech, we're preparing you to turn that data into real profitable decisions.
So let's talk about the future, because that's where you come in. It's so important to think of these AI tools not as something that's going to replace you, but as an incredibly powerful partner, something that's going to amplify your own strategic skills.
You see, unlike those old static spreadsheets, these AI models are, well, they're kind of alive. They're always learning. It's called adaptive learning. Every single new booking, every cancellation, every tiny rate change, that's all new information that feeds right back into the system. It's constantly fine-tuning itself, getting smarter, and improving the accuracy of its next forecast. And what that means for your hotel is that you can adapt to changes in the market almost in real time. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought to take with you. The technology, it's going to handle the number crunching. It'll do the heavy lifting and forecast the demand. The real question, the one for you as the next generation of hospitality leaders, is this. While the AI is busy forecasting, what will you create? With all that time and brainpower freed up, what amazing new guest experiences will you dream up? What groundbreaking strategies will you invent? Because that's where the future of hospitality is really headed. Thanks so much for joining me.